Welcome again students at Imprise Academy, and this is lecture number 4th of chapter number 1 from class 10th the life processes। तो आज हम बात करने वाले हैं कुछ एक्सरसाइजेस के बारे में जो पिछली बार हमने छोड़ दी थी, पिछली बार रह गई थी हमारे टॉपिक के बीच में से। So there were certain activities which were remaining. One of the activity that you can zoom in and can look forward here. I have already read on this activity, the activity number 6.3. So what does this activity indicate and what is going to happen in this activity? This activity is used to depict that the starch solution can be digested into simple carbohydrate molecules with the saliva present within our mouth. So what has been done? Two test tubes have been taken in the activity number 6.3. In both the test tube 1 ml of starch solution is added. दो टेस्ट ट्यूब ली गई हैं, दोनों में 1 ml starch solution को ऐड कर दिया गया है. After adding the starch solution, 1 ml of saliva is being added to each of the test tube, to one of the test tube and not to the other. So saliva is being added in the A test tube, not in B. Saliva added, no saliva, and here there is saliva added, and here it is no saliva. So what is this saliva is going to do? Saliva will have an enzyme which is referred to as the salivary amylase. Salivary amylase, which is also referred to as styrene. This enzyme has the ability to convert the complex carbohydrate into simpler one. It will convert the complex carbohydrates into simpler ones. Now which could be the simpler ones? The glucose, maltose, etc. Now what is being done in this exercise is that after adding the saliva, it has been told to keep the experiment for 20 to 30 minutes as such. While keeping the experiment for 20 to 30 minutes as such, what you are going to find is that this saliva is going to act upon the starch and it will get converted into the simpler ones. The simpler ones, simpler carbohydrates, simpler monosaccharides or disaccharides or oligosaccharides, monosaccharide, disaccharides or oligosaccharides. When these will be exposed to iodine solution, then they will turn the iodine solution blue-black. Okay, when this will be exposed to iodine solution will turn blue-black. Exposed to iodine solution, which will turn blue-black. Just a minute. It will turn blue-black, indicating this formation of blue-black color indicates yes, starch was present in the tube A. The formation of this blue-black color, hence what does it observe? What does it tell us? It tells us that yes, starch was hydrolyzed in the tube A. The formation of blue-black color, the formation or appearance of blue-black color indicates the presence of starch. The presence of starch in tube 1, in tube A, and its hydrolysis. So it indicates that not only the starch was present, but the starch has also been hydrolyzed. You can come forward now. Please look here. Just a second students, have some patience. See this, the formation of or appearance of blue-black color in this test tube will cause that will indicate that yes, starch was present and has been hydrolyzed into simple monosaccharides. So this activity clearly indicates that our saliva has the ability to degrade the carbohydrate molecules into simpler ones. So the result of this activity would be that saliva has the ability to convert the complex carbohydrate into simpler ones. Thus, this activity is going to indicate that yes, this activity indicates that saliva or salivary amylase can break down, can degrade complex carbohydrate into simpler ones. Complex carbohydrates into simpler ones. It is the one that would be converting the complex carbohydrate into the simpler ones. So this is about activity 6.3. So now this activity is being done. There is a small topic which was also remaining, and that small topic was referred to as dental canines. Now what is dental canines, that we will be visualizing. What is dental canine? Dental canine. Dental canine refers to the softening of the teeth caused by the gradual degradation of the teeth layers dentine and enamel due to outgrowth of bacterial contaminants over them. Okay. Dental canine, it refers to the teeth softening caused by the outgrowth of bacterial contaminants over the teeth. Teeth contain the bacterial contaminants, and that can be visualized under the microscope. You just remove the teeth tartar and visualize it under the microscope. You will be able to visualize clearly the microorganisms which are associated with your teeth. Now these microorganisms moves into the cavity present in between the teeth and began to eat up the remaining food material which gets inculcated within the food within the teeth cavities. The microorganisms, the microbes, that is bacteria basically began to ferment upon the food materials inculcated food materials present within the teeth cavities, producing acids. These acids will act toward the topmost layer, the whitest layer of the teeth, which is referred to as enamel, and then will degrade not only the enamel but also the second layer of the tooth, that is referred to as dentine, causing dental caries. It is these acids, producing acids. Acids acts upon enamel and dentine, producing dental caries. Once dental caries is being caused, then it will influence the ability of teeth to remain in the socket. The teeth will become loose and will be lost. Teeth may become loose, teeth may be lost, and infection can spread to the underlying pulp area. Teeth may be lost, infection can be spread to the underlying pulp area. Infection spreading to the underlying pulp area. This is what could happen in the case of dental caries. So this could happen in the case of dental caries. So with this we have finished the topic of nutrition. Now we will be starting with respiration. Before respiration, let us just have a quick look at the different types of questions which are being asked in the NCERT practice sheet. So let me just go one by one upon all these questions which have been asked in the NCERT practice sheet. So the first question which has been asked is that difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, what is the difference between the autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition that we must visualize? First question that is given in NCERT is practice sheet second. Practice sheet second. The first question which is being given: differentiate between autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. First question. Differentiation between autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. You can just have a quick revision at my previous lecture. In the case of autotrophic mode of nutrition, plants and animals can convert the chemical energy directly into chemical energy, can get converted into light energy. This light energy could be effectively used. Light energy could be getting converted into chemical energy in the case of plants. Light energy could get transformed into chemical energy. Chemical energy in the case of plant species. Such type of plant species are said to be the autotrophs. These are referred to as autotrophs. Okay. So they do not require any food source. They can biosynthesize the food from inorganic material. Inorganic materials can get converted into inorganic material, can get transformed into organic material. Organic materials. These are referred to as autotrophs. What do you mean by heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are the organ which feeds upon the autotrophs. Feeds upon the autotrophs. Autotrophs. As they feed upon the autotrophs, so they have the ability to work upon the food material accumulated by the autotrophs, and then they could utilize those food material for satisfying their own body need, their own energy, mineral, nutrient and other needs of the body. Such type of organisms are referred to as heterotroph. I have already explained that all the different types of animal species are included in heterotrophs. These include all the different types of animal species. Okay. Then there, in the case of autotroph, it was the plant species. Plant species, note Euglena. Euglena are unicellular protozoan. Protozoan is said to be a connecting link in between the autotrophs and heterotrophs, in between plant and animals. So can have both autotrophic or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. It can biosynthesize its own food in the presence of sunlight and can feed upon the other different microbes, algae, fungus in the absence of sunlight. So it can act as an autotroph as well as it can act as a heterotroph. This is the first question. Okay, hopefully this would be visualized to you. Okay. The second question that is being asked in NCERT is that the second question that is being asked in NCERT is that how do plants get their raw material? Where from the plant get their raw material for photosynthesis? Where from the plant gets their raw material? Raw material for photosynthesis. The plants gets their raw material for photosynthesis through the earth atmosphere, through the openings which are present over the plant leaves, and those are referred to as stomata. The raw materials include the raw materials for photosynthesis. The raw materials for photosynthesis. Synthesis includes, which are the raw materials? The carbon dioxide, the water, so as to convert it into C6H12O6, the glucose molecule, and releasing oxygen as a byproduct in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Plant obtain this carbon dioxide through stomata. Water is being obtained through xylem vesicles, and it will lead to the formation of glucose molecules. So carbon dioxide is obtained through stomata from the atmospheric air. Water is being absorbed through the water vesicles from underground water supply, from groundwater, from capillary water of the soil. So the plant species will uptake the carbon dioxide through their stomata and will uptake the water molecules through the xylem vesicles from the soil. This is how the plant obtain the raw materials for the act of photosynthesis. The third question that has been asked in NCERT is the role of acid in the stomach. So what is the basic role of acid in the case of the stomach? I have already told you in my previous lecture the role of acid in stomach. Within stomach, acid catalyzes the following two important processes. First, acid activates certain enzymes that are referred to as acidic hydrolases and catalyzes the degradation of the food material. The acidic pH of the stomach, the acidic pH of the stomach activates acidic hydrolases, activates acidic hydrolases, which acts over food materials and starts degrading it. So the food material is being degraded by certain enzymes, and these enzymes gets activated in the presence of low pH, that is in the presence of acid. Secondly, acids further kills off any pathogen, bacteria, certain fungus trying to enter present within our food, material. So if any pathogenic microorganism, bacteria, fungus, etc. is present within our food material, then these can also be neutralized by the acid of the stomach. Okay. The next question that has been asked in NCERT is that, note one important point. In the stomach, it is the mucilaginous layer that protects the stomach through the stomach epithelium through the acid from the acid of the stomach. स्टमक की एपिथेलियम को एसिड से बचाने के लिए स्टमक के पास में क्या होती है, स्टमक कंटेन्स 1.5 that means 1.5 inch thick layer of mucus that helps in protection of the stomach epithelial, gastric epithelium from the harmful effects of the acid. The third question which has been asked is about the functioning of the digestive system. So what is the functioning of digestive system? The next question is functioning of digestive system. The functioning of digestive system. For basically understanding the functioning of digestive system, you will have to look at my last lecture, functioning of digestive system. This is the fourth question. Functioning of digestive system. So the simple functioning of digestive system is to convert the complex molecules into simpler ones. The basic functioning of any digestive system is to convert the complex molecules into simpler ones. It is to convert the complex molecules into simpler ones to aid in the process of food absorption and assimilation. This is the basic functioning of the digestive system. So digestive system has the ability to convert these complex food materials into simpler ones, and these simpler ones food materials are being absorbed in our body into simpler ones. These simpler ones are absorbed in our body. This is where digestive system is. Okay. An elaborated answer is being provided along with the diagram in my lecture number 3rd. You can just have a view for that if you want the detail. The fifth question that is being asked in NCERT is that how is the small intestine helps in the digestion of food material. The next question being, how is small intestine? How is small intestine designed to digest the food material? The food material. The small intestine. The small intestine is highly elongated, but it is tightly coiled and packed within our abdominal cavity. The small intestine is a highly coiled, elongated structure with different villi marking the entire length of the alimentary canal. Okay, so as these villi mark the entire alimentary canal, so they increases the surface area of the alimentary canal. Hence, villi increases the surface area of the alimentary canal. Once the surface area is being increased, hence catalyzes food absorption. Not only it catalyzes food absorption just by simply increasing the area, but all the different types of food material, the carbohydrate, the lipids as well as the proteins are all being digested within the small intestine. So in the case of small intestine only, all the three materials are being completely digested. The proteins are being digested with the help of proteases. Lipids undergo emulsification reaction where they are being emulsified in the presence of bile salts, bile juice, and ultimately the last carbohydrates are completely being degraded and then absorbed in the form of monosaccharides. That's all about the question and answer session from the NCERT. Let us continue our class and let us look at the other topic, the next topic that we have to study. The next topic that we have to study is cellular respiration, another important life process. So the practice sheet is over. So what is cellular respiration basically? What is this cellular respiration? So cellular respiration, the next life process, respiration. Basically respiration refers to the oxidation of food materials. The oxidation of food materials in order to liberate the energy entrapped in them. So it refers to the oxidation of food materials in order to liberate the energy entrapped in them. So the food materials can be effectively oxidized in a process that is referred to as cellular respiration. Okay. Now there are certain activities which are being given in NCERT to explain the process of cellular respiration. So let us just look at those activities which have been provided by the NCERT to understand the process of cellular respiration. So you can all focus here because here are the activities which are being given. about cellular respiration. So we are going to talk about the activities now. Please look here at the other side of the screen. Okay. Now probably all of you might be able to zoom into it and have a look at the activities which are being provided by NCERT to understand. Okay, far better. So we can look here. So these are the activities that we have to understand. The activity number 6.4. What does the activity 6.4 states that? It states that in this activity we have taken two test tubes. Both the test tubes are filled with lime water. In one of the test tube, only a pump, a syringe or a pichkari is being taken and air is pumped into it. A pump is being taken and air is pumped into it. दोनों ही टेस्ट ट्यूब में लाइम वाटर लिए गए हैं. पहली वाली टेस्ट ट्यूब में आप देख रहे हैं एक पिचकारी या एक पंप के साथ में से अटैच किया गया और एयर को पास किया गया है लाइम वाटर के थ्रू. Simple air has been passed. In the other experiment, again the lime water was taken. The same lime water was taken in this experiment also. But in this experiment, instead of passing air, a person is exhaling the air. This is exhaled air. Exhaled air is made to pass through it. Exhaled air is passed through lime water. So what they are trying to show to us is that what is going to happen? There are two questions that the NCERT people are asking. What will take more time to turn milky? Now before answering these questions के आंसर देने से पहले हम इस प्रोसेस को समझते हैं. देखिए लाइम वाटर क्या होता है? लाइम वाटर इज CaOH hold twice. Lime water has an ability to react with carbon dioxide. लाइम वाटर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के साथ में रिएक्शन कर सकता है. क्या बना सकता है? It can lead to calcium carbonate CaCO3 and water molecules. This is calcium carbonate. And this calcium carbonate turns lime water milky. It is this calcium carbonate which turns lime water milky. Presence of calcium carbonate turns lime water milky. It turns lime water milky. It is the one that is responsible for turning the lime water milky. So here, what is going to happen? The air bubbles which are going to come will have approximately 3% carbon dioxide, and here the air which is being pumped has 0.3% carbon dioxide. See this? This has 0.3% carbon dioxide. This is approximately 3% carbon dioxide, 1 to 3% carbon dioxide. Okay, percent carbon dioxide. So of course this lime water is going to be turned milky sooner as compared to the lime water in which the air is being pumped. Hence, what we can say that? Hence, exhaled air makes the lime water milky, Exhaled air makes the lime water milky faster than atmospheric air. This is what happens. So amount of carbon dioxide in the case of exhaled air. Again NCERT has asked another question. What is the amount of carbon dioxide in exhaled air? Thus hence results of the experiment indicate that exhaled air air has high CO2 content than normal air. Okay, this is what has been shown in the activity number 6.4. Okay, so this clearly shows that the amount of carbon dioxide is much more high in the case of exhaled air. So the tube in which the exhaled air is being passed, that is the tube B, will show lime water milky much more faster as compared to tube A, which will show lime water milky after only a very long duration of time because of low amount of carbon dioxide associated with air. एयर के अंदर कम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है, धीरे लाइम वाटर मिल्की बनेगा. वहां पर एक्सेल्ड एयर के अंदर जो हम सांस लेते हैं उससे बाहर जो एयर निकल रही है उसके अंदर ज्यादा कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है, तो लाइम वाटर जल्दी से मिल्की बन जाएगा, जल्दी से मिल्की फॉर्म में ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाएगा. This is all about this experiment activity number 6.4. Now let us move to the last activity shown in the NCERT, that is activity number 6.5. So for that activity you must focus here, just rubbing this out so that we can focus upon the last activity, that is activity number 6.5. So let us focus on the activity number 6.5 as shown here. Sorry please. So we are going to look at the activity number 6.5. In the case of activity number 6.5, what is being shown here is that there is a bowl which is being taken in which fruit juice is being added or a sugar solution is being taken. The yeast is being added into this sugar solution and then this entire material is being transferred. This entire material is being transferred into a test tube. Transferred to a test tube. Into a test tube. Now what is going to happen? From this test tube, this test tube is closed with the help of a cork. Through this cork, a tube is made to run into the lime water, and this, after this apparatus being kept for 20 to 25 minutes, the apparatus is kept undisturbed for 20 to 25 minutes. The apparatus is kept undisturbed for 20 to 30 minutes. Then what is going to happen? This lime water will react with carbon dioxide, will get converted into calcium carbonate. That is COH whole twice will react with carbon dioxide, will lead to the formation of CaCO3 and water molecules. And this calcium carbonate which is being produced will turn the solution milky. Why this carbon dioxide is being produced? Because yeast has the ability to produce carbon dioxide. It is yeast, before this reaction is taking place, the yeast cells, yeast will cause the sugar molecules C6H12O6 to be fermented into ethanol, C2H5OH and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide will react with calcium hydroxide and will produce a milky solution. And this, the production of this milky solution will cause the lime water to get converted into milky. Once the lime water turns milky, this indicates that yes, carbon dioxide has been produced in the solution. There are two questions which has been asked in NCERT. Changes in the lime water. The first question, the changes in the lime water. The lime water turns milky. The first question that has been asked is, what happens with the lime water? The lime water turns milky. Question number 1. Answer is lime water turns milky. Lime water turns milky. The second question is being asked, what do you mean by the process of fermentation? fermentation. I will have to zoom out from this area so that I could answer the process of fermentation much more better, in a much more better manner. Now, what do you mean by fermentation? How does fermentation should be explained? Just zooming out. The process of fermentation it is an extracellular process involving oxidation of food materials, or sugars to produce organic acids or alcohol along with carbon dioxide. So in the process of fermentation, what is going to happen? This is the process of fermentation. The yeast catalyzes the fermentation of glucose into the ethanol and carbon dioxide. For example, yeast catalyzing this particular reaction C6H12O6 in the presence of yeast is being modified to form ethanol C2H5OH, which is referred to as an ethanol, and producing carbon dioxide in the process. This is referred to as fermentation. It is an incomplete oxidation of food material, converting complex food material into simpler ones. Just look forward. So fermentation is the process in which the food material can get converted into the simpler ones in the presence of biomolecules, in the presence of organic converting the ethanol, converting the glucose molecules into ethanol. This process is referred to as fermentation. With this, we have initiated the cellular respiration, the second essential life process, and finished all the activities and the questions up till now. So this is all for today's class. In tomorrow's class, we would be moving forward from the topic of cellular respiration. If you have any queries, you can always WhatsApp me or send your queries in the comment box section. Okay, thanks a lot and best of luck for your future.